Fox's confident grin suggests a calculated plan for upcoming chaos. This mischievous expression. A single button press initiates a sequence of irreversible environmental disruption. This moment, pollution here acts as a physical manifestation of the fox's malice. The sheer volume of waste symbolizes the overwhelming nature of his betrayal.
Panic spreads quickly when the foundation of safety is suddenly violated. Her frantic movements reflect the internal collapse of her peaceful academic world.
Emotional distress highlights the deep impact of this sudden urban betrayal. The phone call represents a desperate search for help in chaos.
Curiosity often uncovers the magical tools needed to combat growing darkness. This discovery represents the first spark of hope for the town.
Technology emerges as a miraculous solution to the town's dire situation. The transformation signifies the arrival of a powerful force for good.
True heroism is defined by competence and courage during unexpected disasters. Restoring order requires specialized tools and a very determined, heroic mindset. The goggles symbolize her vision.
Cleaning up the mess is a heavy task, both physically and symbolically. Each bag removed is a step toward reclaiming their stolen peace. The pursuit represents the inevitable clash between reckless chaos and organized justice. This high-speed chase highlights arrogance often blinds the villain to the tactical traps being set above. His laughter serves as a fleeting mask for the impending failure of his escape. Gravity and momentum serve as the final judges for those who overreach. This dramatic plunge marks the physical end of his destructive joyride through the town. Even in defeat, the antagonist finds mercy through the hero's professional duty. The descending hook represents a lifeline that leads directly to his legal accountability. Symbolism of a forced transition to accountability. The law restores balance once the chaotic storm of the chase subsides. This confrontation solidifies the victory of community order over individual malice. True justice involves the perpetrator physically mending the environment they once destroyed. Labor becomes the path toward redemption for his previous environmental crimes.
Community triumph is the ultimate reward for collective resistance against selfish disruption.
A change in vehicle suggests a new, perhaps more colorful form of mischief. The fox's return to the skies signals a fresh chapter of chaos. The cycle of disruption begins anew, painted in very vibrant shades of purple. This colorful pollution marks the start of his next urban prank.
Urban landscapes become playgrounds for those who wield chaos as a colorful weapon.
The high ground provides a distorted sense of power over the suffering city below. His laughter echoes as a symbol of temporary victory over the town's peace. Domestic safety is shattered when external threats seep through the glass of home. Their wide eyes reflect the sudden realization of the danger outside.
Preparation is the first line of defense against an invisible, airborne tactical assault. The masks.
The silence of the fallen animals highlights the devastating reach of the fox. This chemical slumber is a physical manifestation of the town's vulnerability. Empathy drives the heroes to investigate the source of this widespread chemical slumber. Their gaze shifts from the victims to the architect of the chaos.
Solid barriers represent the final obstacles between the heroes and the laughing villain. The heavy door stands as a physical challenge to their mission.
Destruction of the old form is necessary to birth a new tactical solution. This magical act is the key to unlocking their next heroic phase. Ventilation becomes a tactical maneuver to reclaim the city's breathable atmosphere from toxins. The powerful gust represents the literal clearing of the fox's malice.
Using wind pressure for vertical mobility demonstrates an ingenious application of physics and courage. Her flight is a direct challenge to the fox's high ground advantage.
The confrontation at the summit signifies the peak of the conflict between order and chaos. The heroes arrive.
Desperation leads to clumsy escape attempts when the hero's persistence finally corners the villain. The struggle for the cockpit is the final battle for control.
Non-lethal containment methods highlight the hero's commitment to justice without resorting to violence. The bubbles act as a whimsical yet effective prison for chaos.
The bubble serves as a transparent prison, isolating the threat while maintaining public visibility. This public display of
formal legal procedures finalize the victory.
ensuring that the perpetrator faces communal consequences. The transition from bubble collective relief manifests as a public celebration, reinforcing the bonds of the restored community. Their shared victory is a testament to the power of unity. A new elevation of crime suggests that the fox's ambition scales with his failures. This high-altitude heist signals the start of a more daring arc. The fox's aggressive entry shatters the illusion of corporate security. This violent intrusion represents a total disregard for established urban boundaries.
The physical weight of the safe mirrors the gravity of his crime. His calculated movements reveal a high level of tactical criminal expertise. Stop, thief! He's escaping with the safe! Somebody help!
Advanced ground tracking technology emerges to counter the fox's high-altitude escape.
Establishing aerial superiority is crucial for intercepting the fox's slow-moving balloon. Ground-based radar support ensures the jet maintains a perfect tactical lock. The jet's rapid ascent signifies a decisive shift in the pursuit's momentum.
Sophisticated tracking systems eliminate the possibility of the fox remaining hidden.
A confirmed radar lock transforms a vague search into a targeted mission. Direct visual observation provides the final confirmation needed for the intercept.
The pilot's intense focus ensures the jet's systems remain perfectly synchronized. The fox's shock reveals the total failure of his high-altitude plan. Aerial maneuvers demonstrate the jet's absolute dominance over the fox's slow balloon.
A precise strike effectively neutralizes the fox's primary means of high-altitude escape.
The parachute provides a temporary reprieve from the gravity of his failures.
A successful landing marks the completion of the hero's high-stakes aerial mission.
The fox's transition to ground escape shows his desperate, never-ending tactical persistence.
The police chase represents the community's final effort to secure the perpetrator.
Justice is finally served as the fox's long spree of chaos ends.
Redemption through labor allows the fox to give back to the community. The town's peace is restored, celebrating a future built on unity and heroism.
The drill's roar signifies a new level of mechanical aggression against domestic stability. This machine represents the fox.
The monkey's shock highlights the vulnerability of the working class during chaos. His fear is a direct result of the fox's mechanical tyranny. Uncovering hidden wealth justifies the fox's destructive methods in his own mind. The diamond's brilliance reflects the cold, hard nature of his greed. Agility and theft combine to create a successful escape from the crime scene. His mid-air pose symbolizes a temporary triumph over the working monkey. Subterranean exploration allows the fox to bypass surface-level security and law enforcement. Solitude in the depths provides a moment for the villain to admire his prize. This quiet reflection reveals the singular focus of his criminal ambition. Stealing the source of life highlights the fox's complete lack of empathy. The golden eggs represent a rare and precious target for his greed.
A rapid transition to a high-speed vehicle ensures a quick getaway from the coop. The chase begins as the community reacts to his latest theft.
The arrival of the hero's high-performance vehicle levels the playing field instantly. This mechanical duel represents the
senseless destruction of nature serves as a distraction for the fox's true goals. The falling tree symbolizes the collateral damage caused by his chaotic whims. The sudden appearance of the hero disrupts the villain's destructive rhythm. This unexpected confrontation forces the fox to reconsider his immediate escape strategy. Escalating to heavy machinery indicates the fox's refusal to surrender quietly. His choice of a monster truck reflects his desire for overwhelming dominance.
Precision engineering meets raw power in this high-stakes suburban vehicular duel. The cat's focus demonstrates her commitment to stopping the fox's rampage.
Tire smoke and roaring engines emphasize the intensity of the moral conflict. This high-speed struggle is a physical manifestation of their opposing goals. Physical contact between vehicles symbolizes the direct clash of opposing ideologies. The sparks represent the friction between chaos and the rule of law. The quiet neighborhood becomes a battlefield for the town's future safety. Skillful driving allows the hero to stay ahead of the fox's brute force. Defying gravity represents the peak of this chaotic and colorful chase. This moment of suspension highlights the extreme risks taken by both sides. Magic remains the ultimate wildcard in the hero's tactical recovery arsenal. This transformation is the first step toward repairing the fox's environmental damage.
Inductive transformation to strength tortured.
Restoration requires the same level of power that was used for destruction. Each movement of the machine brings the orchard closer to its original state.
Breaking glass symbolizes the fox's total disregard for community property boundaries and peace.
The fox greed transforms a place of childhood joy into a chaotic crime scene.
Speed becomes the fox's only defense against the immediate and heavy weight of guilt.
The shopkeeper's tears reflect the deep emotional trauma caused by sudden and violent loss.
Magic provides the necessary tools to bridge the gap between the victim and hero.
Technological upgrades are essential to match the fox's reckless and extremely high-speed escape. The chase intensifies as the hero's superior technology closes the distance with the fox. Friction between wheels mirrors the heated moral conflict between these two eternal rivals.
Restoring order requires a collective effort to heal the community's deep physical wounds.
Accountability is the final and most important step in resolving the fox's mischief.
The fox plants explosives at the dam. This structural sabotage represents a catastrophic escalation of his chaotic tendencies.
He laughs as the timer counts down. Malicious glee often precedes the most devastating environmental disasters in this town.
The dam wall shatters under the blast. Unleashing the river's raw power creates an immediate and irreversible crisis. Two dogs watch the flood approach. Innocent bystanders are always the first to suffer from reckless infrastructure destruction.
The corgi calls for emergency help. Rapid communication is the only hope when facing a sudden wall of water. The cat receives the distress call. A hero's vigilance is the community's last line of defense against disaster.
She strikes the magical rainbow egg. Activating ancient magic requires a decisive strike to manifest modern rescue tools.
The egg transforms into a helicopter. Technology and magic merge to provide the ultimate vertical rescue solution. The helicopter flies over the flood. Aerial perspective allows the hero to assess the full scale of destruction.
She lowers the rescue harness down. Precision and timing are critical when saving lives from a rushing torrent.
Descending the concrete abyss requires nerves of steel and perfect equipment. This vertical maneuver is a testament to the hero's specialized training.
The hero's touch provides immediate salvation amidst the churning, cold white foam. Saving these innocent lives is the core of her mission. Descending from danger symbolizes the triumph of organized rescue over chaotic destruction. The aerial perspective reveals the true scale of the fox's malice. Solid ground marks the end of terror for the innocent canine victims. Their joy is the ultimate reward for the hero's bravery.
Plugging the breach is a race against time to prevent further flooding. Every sandbag dropped is a barrier against the fox's chaos.
The rearview mirror reflects the inevitable approach of the fox's own consequences. Escape is no longer an option in the face of justice. Traction fails when the moral ground beneath one's feet has completely eroded. The cliffside represents the precarious end of his destructive path. Blood becomes a physical trap, mirroring the inescapable weight of his crimes. His struggle only deepens the hole he has dug for himself.
The law finally catches up, binding the agent of chaos in steel. This arrest marks the end of his environmental sabotage.
Isolation in concrete is the final chapter for those who break community. His silence reflects the heavy cost of his chaotic choices. The fox revs his chainsaw in the orchard. Each mechanical roar of the saw echoes his internal disconnect from nature's balance. He laughs as the healthy tree falls. Destruction provides a fleeting sense of power that masks a deeper insecurity.
The hero discovers the environmental crime. The hero's arrival signals the immediate end of unchecked environmental vandalism.
She activates the magical rainbow egg.
The egg transforms into a powerful excavator. Industrial strength is repurposed here as a tool for ecological restoration.
She uses the machine to lift the log. Precision in restoration is just as vital as the initial act of bravery.
The fox is blocked from escaping. The path of escape is physically closed by the weight of his actions.
The hero catches and scolds the fox. Confrontation forces the antagonist to face the reality of his destructive whims.
The fox plants new trees as punishment. Redemption is a slow process rooted in the very soil he once harmed. The community celebrates the restored orchard. Community unity remains the strongest defense against any future chaotic disruptions.
The fox's intrusion into the cabin creates an immediate high-stakes hostage situation.
The ticking clock amplifies the psychological pressure on both the villain and victims.
Desperate attempts to defuse the device reveal the fox's lack of technical expertise.
Abandoning the victims proves the fox's self-preservation outweighs his chaotic bravado.
The fox's escape on ground level ignores the aerial threat approaching fast.
The rabbit officer utilizes magical artifacts to counter the ticking mechanical threat.
Transformation of the egg into a gyrocopter provides the necessary vertical mobility.
Precision flying is required to navigate the rotating structure of the amusement ride. The rescue hook represents a literal lifeline for the most vulnerable characters.
The massive explosion marks the physical peak of the fox's destructive legacy. Kitten shows the egg. Hope returns to the store through this magical, unexpected intervention.
Egg becomes a bike. Technology evolves rapidly to match the speed of criminal intent.
Kitten rides out. Courage propels the young hero into a high-stakes urban pursuit. Chase on the street. Urban landscapes become a high-speed arena for this moral conflict.
Rocket boosters fire. Raw power is harnessed to bridge the gap with injustice. Side-by-side race.
Determination proves faster than the fox's desperate and selfish escape.
Cleaning the store. Restoring order is a collaborative effort for the community's heart.
Fox crashes. Reckless behavior eventually leads to an inevitable and painful social collapse.
Returning the toys. True penance requires physically undoing the harm one has caused.
Each heavy step back to the store carries the weight of his choices.
Sweeping away the sharp edges of his past, he begins to heal. Touching the toys he once stole, he finally feels their true worth. Aligning the dolls, he tries to align his own scattered moral compass. Wiping the glass, he hopes to see a clearer version of himself.
Standing together, the group proves that redemption is a collective community effort.
Targeting the dam, he threatens the very lifeblood of the entire valley.
The ticking clock mirrors the fragile state of the town's safety today.
The rushing water reflects the overwhelming power of a single destructive act.
Nature's fury, unleashed by greed, leaves the most vulnerable in peril today.
A desperate call for help is the only hope in this deluge.
The weight of responsibility shows in her eyes as she answers quickly.
A lifeline descends, bridging the gap between certain doom and safety here. Strength and precision combine to lift the innocent from the dark depths.
Retreating from the danger, the mission shifts from rescue to repair work.
The warmth of safety is felt in every grateful and wet embrace.
Strategic placement of magical barriers begins to stem the chaotic water flow.
The mirror reveals the persistent shadow of justice following his every move.
Frantic steering shows a mind trapped by the fear of impending capture.
Diligent repair work rebuilds the community's trust, one brick at a time.
Velocity becomes a desperate shield against the inevitable reach of the law.
The narrow road amplifies the danger of a life lived on the edge.
Loss of control mirrors the total collapse of his latest criminal scheme.
Muddy restraints symbolize the messy end of a path built on deceit.
Stone walls provide the silence needed for a truly honest self-evaluation.
Unity and vigilance ensure the valley remains safe from any future mischief.